If you're anything like me, you've probably already imagined a universe where every mission you embark on in Star Citizen is seamless, every shard is stable, and every core mechanic is relatively well polished. But we all know that reality is quite the opposite right now within the game. As we approach the monumental release of Alpha 4.0, I wanted to discuss how it's time for Star Citizen to have higher standards and to bring the experience we all want and need to see. If you're as tired as I am about the many bugs and server issues ruining your experience, smash that like button and stick with me as we discuss what I believe Star Citizen will need to focus on for 4.0 and beyond. And if you find out that you enjoyed the video and want to see more of this, then consider subscribing. As it stands, the current approach from CIG is to emphasize that Star Citizen remains an alpha, with the live environment acting as an extension of the test environment. The live server with its larger player base helps identify major issues in the current patch more efficiently. The situation can be frustrating because the test environment, or PTU, often reveals critical issues, but can also make it into the live build. Playing Star Citizen can be quite challenging and test your patience, making it really not for everybody. As a result, fewer players engage with it. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a significant gap between the test and live environments, allowing many issues to slip through and become major problems once updates go live. Now, this is evident with Alpha 3.18, which seemed fine in the test phase, but broke almost everything in the live environment. From the developer's perspective, sometimes progress requires moving quickly and breaking things. Over time, they managed to fix many issues in 3.18, eventually making it stable. However, the period between release and stability was extremely frustrating for many players. Not me though, I missed it because reasons.
Hey yo nerd, hurry up and get in the bus.
Suffice to say, I didn't have much of a choice, but I still made it a point to stay up to date on the development. The developers strive to balance making the game enjoyable while allowing some bugs to slip through to continue progress. Focusing solely on bug fixing could significantly delay patches. Now, there are some developers that have given us insight into why they have taken this approach, and in a lot of ways it makes sense.
So I wanted to make sure that we tried our best to have that to be as shortest period of time possible, so that, there's the old adage, if you've got 4 weeks, you'll take 4 weeks. And I wanted to make sure that we tried to get it in a good manner as possible so that we can start moving Star Citizen forward. And I think ultimately, that was my decision. I stand by that decision, and that's the reason.
What he's trying to say is that whatever time frame they're given, they try to use the entirety of that time frame to make the experience better overall. As the work expands to fill the time available, this big picture approach recognizes the long journey ahead and the need to avoid excessive delays. Given we've already experienced plenty of delays with Pyro, we should be used to this.
Hey, when's this thing supposed to come out?
2020.
Hey wait, it's 2024.
Regardless, we're here now, and hopefully Pyro truly isn't far away at this point. We'll see. The standard for releasing updates to the live environment is to provide a balanced, mostly enjoyable experience with some bugs, and we need to acknowledge that some issues may get through. But there is one critical question that we need to ask ourselves. Beginning with 4.0, are we willing to accept the same approach, or is it time for a change? Is it time for Star Citizen to set higher standards as it enters its most game-changing update yet? Now, CIG has been laser focused on addressing game-breaking bugs. On the surface, this sounds great, as none of us want to keep playing the game for longer periods of time when there are often days where we can't even get out of our hangars. But this reactive approach, where the goal is primarily to make the game functional just in time for each patch, has significant downsides. Fixing game-breaking bugs is necessary, but it's often a temporary solution. By focusing almost exclusively on these issues, CIG often overlooks deeper systematic problems that undermine the game's potential. This approach results in patches that are often just good enough to be playable, but still riddled with smaller, persistent bugs and inconsistencies. After all, there's a reason why people T-posed at CitizenCon. We've all experienced it. Glitches that persist through multiple updates, frustrating players and detracting from the experience Star Citizen aims to provide. Now, these aren't just minor inconveniences. They are symptoms of a development cycle that's sometimes more about avoiding delays than releasing a completely stable patch. It's arguable that it's also about ship sales, but hey, who's keeping track? Now, I often think about what we lose when the bar is set this low. The promise of Star Citizen is a seamless, living universe where every detail matters. Yet when patches are rushed out the door with just the minimum fixes, we get a pretty fractured experience. We miss out on the polish, the refinement, and the depth that can only come from a more rigorous, quality-first approach. Now imagine a Star Citizen where every patch not only fixes bugs, but also enhances gameplay, introduces new stable features, and refines existing ones. A game where each update feels like a true step forward and not just a frantic race to fix blockers in order to meet the quarterly deadlines they set for themselves months in advance. As passionate backers and dedicated players, we have a role to play in this. We need to push for higher standards, for a shift in focus from merely fixing the broken to perfecting the experience. Now, this isn't just about being critical or having every single bug fixed. It's about believing in the potential of Star Citizen and holding CIG accountable to the promises that drew us in. To some level, I believe that they are slowly trying to do this right now. With a lot of work for Squadron 42 beginning to finish up, I think we could see a lot more work being done. The community has shown time and again that it is one of the most engaged and supportive in gaming history. Our voices matter, even if they are often very loud. If we provide more constructive feedback, I'm willing to bet that CIG might be inspired to aim higher, to prioritize quality and depth over quick fixes and rushed releases. Star Citizen 4.0 could be a turning point if changes are made. It could mark the beginning of a new era where excellence is the standard and not the exception. But in some ways, it also starts with us by providing more feedback, expecting better, and with believing that this incredible universe deserves nothing less. We're part of this development cycle with them. So what exactly does CIG need to do differently, starting with 4.0? Let's break it down into 3 key areas: more thorough bug fixes, improved server stability, and the addition of core gameplay mechanics. Now this of course isn't everything, but these are some of the more important ones, and honestly, I'll take whatever improvements I can get. First, let's talk about bug fixes. While addressing game-breaking bugs is crucial, CIG needs to go beyond the surface. They should implement a more comprehensive bug-fixing strategy that tackles not just the big issues, but also the smaller persistent ones that continually degrade the player experience. This means dedicating more resources to quality assurance and testing, ensuring that each patch not only makes the game playable, but also enhances its overall stability and polish. A robust bug-fixing process will create a more seamless and enjoyable experience for all of us. Does anyone remember when they had that real OG whose sole purpose was fixing bugs? Bug smashes! I can honestly say I really don't miss those episodes. Next, we need to address server stability. One of the most frustrating aspects of Star Citizen has been the frequent server crashes and desync issues. Now, it's arguable that these problems are becoming less and less, but they still exist and they still cause a lot of issues. But with 4.0, CIG need to prioritize the optimization of server meshing. This includes refining netcode and employing more advanced server management techniques. Or whatever those networking weirdo wizards do to make things work. I'm just the guy with an unhealthy obsession of buying expensive virtual ships. Don't judge me, you have one too. Stable, reliable servers are the backbone of any online game, and Star Citizen is no exception. Now, it's possible that with them transitioning from the NMQ system to the RMQ system that they had in their tech preview last week, that this could help. But again, I'm not a network engineer and I can only speculate. But with improved server stability, we could have a more consistent and immersive experience, free from the constant fear of disconnects and performance issues. This will not only enhance gameplay, but it will also go a long way into building greater trust and satisfaction within the community. I, for one, would be pretty excited and amazed to see 4.0 provide an incredible experience with server meshing if the servers were more stable and the missions were working most of the time. Finally, CIG needs to focus on adding and refining core gameplay mechanics. Star Citizen's promise is a living, breathing universe, but that vision can only be realized through deep, engaging gameplay systems. And while I have plenty of faith in the team, all of us need to see more. This means introducing new mechanics that expand what players can do in the game, while also refining existing systems to ensure that they are robust and enjoyable. We need features like Bounty Hunting V2, for example, which we haven't seen or heard about in a long while, aside from them updating us that they weren't actively working on it. We also need more refactored missions for all gameplay loops, more interactive environments, and more gameplay loops in general. Long-range scanning and more points of interest that have unique exploration opportunities would go a long way to making me happy. CIG should prioritize these core gameplay elements, ensuring that they are well integrated and thoroughly tested before release. This approach will create a richer, more engaging experience that will keep players coming back for more. Now, some of this is slowly being done behind the scenes that isn't obvious at first, but if you look into some of the last few patches, they are beginning to focus on problem areas more. The reason why we haven't seen many server improvements has more than likely been because they're waiting on server meshing, and how it will potentially resolve some of the mini server stability issues that we have now. Obviously, it will introduce new ones, but I'm betting that they'll begin to focus on server issues a lot more once server meshing is in. By focusing on these three areas, thorough bug fixes, improved server stability, and robust core gameplay mechanics, CIG can set a new standard for quality in Star Citizen. It's not just about fixing what's broken, it's about building something truly extraordinary. The journey to 4.0 and beyond is an opportunity for CIG to redefine what it means to deliver quarterly patches. It's time for higher standards, for a renewed commitment to quality, and for a Star Citizen universe that lives up to its incredible potential. A higher standard also means attracting new players. Word of mouth is powerful, as we've already established, and a well-polished game with fewer issues will naturally draw in more players. Newcomers will find a more inviting and engaging universe, leading to a larger, more dynamic player base. A stable and feature-rich Star Citizen will appeal to a broader audience, from casual gamers to hardcore space simulation fans. This influx of new players will bring fresh energy, ideas, and perspectives, enriching the game for everyone. And the marketing of the game could begin to finally be a more accurate representation, which is often one of its many issues. Now, most importantly, this approach will help fulfill the grand vision of Star Citizen. The game has always aimed to be more than just another space sim. It's envisioned as a living, breathing universe where every player can find their place and create their own stories. By focusing on higher standards, CIG can bring this vision closer to reality. A universe that's not only vast, but also rich in detail and depth, where every system works seamlessly and every feature is finely tuned, will set a new benchmark in gaming. Imagine a Star Citizen where every update feels like a significant leap forward instead of a step back, where new features are introduced with care and precision, and the game world continuously evolves in exciting and meaningful ways. This is the Star Citizen that we've all been waiting for, and it's within reach if CIG commits to excellence and if we as a community support and encourage a new approach by providing constructive feedback. The journey to 4.0 is on the horizon, whether it comes out in 2 months or by the end of the year, and it has the potential for Star Citizen to really deliver a better experience overall if CIG works hard to resolve many of the issues. I believe that starting with 4.0, it's time for Star Citizen to move closer to a beta state and bring more polish and stability. Once we move on to the big goal of Star Citizen 1.0, it will be vital for them to begin delivering a more fulfilling experience and prove to the world how Star Citizen could truly revolutionize gaming. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments what you think CIG needs to focus on after 4.0, as I would love to hear your thoughts. If you want to join the channel and support the creation of these videos that help you stay connected and up to date with everything going on in Star Citizen, then consider becoming a member and get new updated loyalty badges, priority replies, and exclusive member-only channels in my Discord. And if you missed what went on in the verse last week, then you'll want to check out this video. Fly safe, pilots, and we'll see you in the next video. Havoc out.